A very good morning, students. This is your teacher Neelam Elawat, and we'll continue our chapter, that is chapter number 3, that is the plant kingdom. And this is our lecture number 3, dear students. Now, in the previous module, we have studied regarding the algae, and its various classes. And we have understood that there is green algae, there is brown algae, and there is red algae depending upon the pigments. Now in this lecture today we'll be talking about the bryophytes. Now dear students, bryophytes, they are referred to as the amphibians of the plant kingdom. Now when you go to some hilly area, you can observe such scenario. Isn't it beautiful? You will find that small these stones, they're whole covered with the green portion. So we can see that the bryophytes, they are generally commonly found in the moist and shady places in the hilly areas, and they are referred to as the amphibians of the plant kingdom. Can anybody tell me what does the word amphibian means? Yes, everyone, what does the word amphibian means? Have you heard about the amphibians? Yes, you have studied it in your 9th class also. Amphibians are which can live both on water as well as on the land. So some organisms, they are referred to as amphibians. Can you tell me some examples? Yes, tell me the examples of amphibians. Yes, frogs. So amphibians which can live in water as well as on the surface of the land. So the bryophytes, they are referred to as the amphibians of the plant kingdom, because these plants, they can live in soil but they need water for sexual reproduction. So whenever they reproduce, so during sexual reproduction, the water is required. So water is required for sexual reproduction. Thus these plants, they are referred to as amphibians of the plant kingdom. And they are generally found in the damp, humid and the shady places, right? And they play a very important role in the plant succession on the soils and on the rocks. So that is why the rocks, and they get covered with this green leafy plants where a lot of water is available near the waterfalls, and this gives a beautiful scenario, isn't it? This creates a beautiful scenario near the water bodies. Now bryophytes, basically the plant body, as we already have studied the algae. So we know that plant body in case of algae is thallus-like. Here also the body is thallus-like. Okay, the body is thallus-like, and it has certain root-like structures which are called rhizoids. Okay, it has certain root-like structures called rhizoids. And these rhizoids, they help these plants to get attached to the substratum. They can be unicellular, means they may be containing a single cell, or they may be multicellular. They may contain many cells. So we can say that these plants, they do not have true roots and the stems. Okay, these plants, they do not have true roots, stems and the leaves, but they have a thallus-like body, and they have a rhizoids which help them in attaching to the substratum. Now in this case, as I told you that they do not have true roots in the stem, but they contain basically leaf-like and stem-like structures, and they have rhizoids also. As you can see in the lower portion, here also the rhizoids are visible. So the plant body of the bryophyte is haploid. The body is haploid. Haploid means it contains half the number of chromosomes. Suppose if there is 2n is equal to, suppose just imagine that the 2n is equal to 10. So n will be equal to 5. So that is called a haploid condition. So their plant body is haploid. Okay. And this haploid condition it produces gametes. So that is why it is referred to as a gametophyte. What do we refer to it? It is referred to as gametophyte. So it has male gametophyte, it has female gametophyte. The male gametophyte will produce antheridia, and the female gametophyte will produce the archegonial head, or you can say archegonia, the male and the female gametes. Okay, so this is a male gametophyte, this is a female gametophyte. You can easily compare the structure. So female gametophyte is quite different from the male gametophyte. Now this male gametophyte, okay dear students, the male gametophyte is called antheridium. As you can see, it is antheridium are present. This red structures you can see very easily, right? This is called the antheridium. Okay, this is called the antheridium. The male sex organ is called antheridium. Okay, the male sex organ. What do we call the male sex organ? Antheridium. What do we call male sex organ? Antheridium, right? And the female sex organs is called archegonia. Okay, that is called archegonium. So male sex organ is called antheridium, female sex organ is called archegonia. The male sex organ, which is called antheridium, it produces, yes, very good, it produces anthrozoids. It produces the anthrozoids. You can see it is producing the anthrozoids. See these round shaped structures, these are your anthrozoids. Okay everyone? Okay, so the male antheridium will produce anthrozoids, and the female gametophyte, which is archegonia, it will produce archegonium. It will produce archegonium. Okay, so this archegonium, it is flask shaped. Okay, the archegonium is flask shaped. Okay, right, the antheridium containing anthrozoids, while archegonia contains archegoniums which are flask shaped. Okay, and it only produces a single egg. You can see there is a single egg, so it only produces single egg. While anthrozoids, they are more in number. They are not one, but they are more in number. They are always more than one. So male gametes, they are always more in number, while the female gamete, that is your egg, it is one in number. It is single egg which matures. Now when your antheridium matures, so these anthrozoids, they are released into the water. As you can see in the picture, the antheridium is releasing the antherozoids. What do we call them? Antherozoids. So these antherozoids, they are released into the water. Okay, they are released into the water, where they will come in contact with the archegonium. Okay, where they will come in contact with the archegonium. Let's see. Now once they come in contact with the archegonium, they will fuse and they will form a zygote. So zygote is formed once an anthrozoid fuses with the egg. So then it will result in the formation of zygote. Okay. Now this zygote, dear students, will not undergo reductional division immediately. ये जो zygote है, इसमें reductional division, एकदम से reductional division नहीं होगा, but it will produce a multicellular body which is called sporophyte. Okay, so this will not undergo a meiotic division, reduction division. Rather, it will produce a multicellular body, this multicellular body, and that multicellular body is called a sporophyte. So sporophyte is a multicellular body produced by the zygote. Okay everyone? And this sporophyte, it is not free living, and it is always attached to the photosynthetic sporophyte. Okay, it will always be attached with the photosynthetic gametophyte, and this will give nourishment to the sporophyte. Okay, ये जो sporophyte है कभी भी अकेला नहीं होता, हमेशा it is attached with the sporophyte, and that will give, always it will be attached to the gametophyte, and this gametophyte will provide nourishment for its growth. Now some cells of this sporophyte will undergo the reductional division, which is called meiosis, and they will form the haploid spores. Okay, they will undergo the haploid spores, and these spores will germinate to form a gametophyte. ठीक है, आपका जो स्पोरोफाइट है उसमें रिडक्शनल डिवीजन होगा, रिडक्शन डिवीजन से स्पोर्स बनेंगे और स्पोर्स जो हैं वो जर्मिनेट करेंगे गेमेटोफाइट बनाने के लिए. ठीक है एवरीवन, क्लियर? ओके. Now as I told you, now these spores they will germinate to produce the gametophyte, and we had already started with the gametophyte, male gametophyte and the female gametophyte. Now these bryophytes they can further divide into two classes. हम इन bryophytes को further दो categories में divide कर सकते हैं. One is liverworts and second is mosses. As you can see clearly in the picture, these are your liverworts and these are the mosses. Now we'll study each of them separately. So let's continue with our module. Now coming to the liverworts, the liverworts they are observed to be grown in the moist and shady places, generally on the banks of rivers, streams, marshy grounds, damp soil, and as you can see in the photograph, on the barks of trees. Okay, they are observed to be growing on the barks of trees and in the deep forest as well. Clear everyone? And as you can see the plant body is again, it is thalloid. The body of the liverwort is also thalloid, as you can see in the Markentia. And this body is dorso-ventrally flat. Okay, the body is dorso-ventrally flat and it is closely appressed to the stratum, means it is very close to the substratum. Substrate means जिसके साथ उसकी growth हो रही है. It could be soil, it could be rock also. Some leafy members of the liverworts, they bear certain leaf-like appendages. Okay. So the thallus, as I told you in the previous slide, the thallus was dorsoventrally flat and it was very close to the substratum. But in this case, the leafy members of this class, they have leaf-like appendages and they are arranged in two rows on the stem-like structures. So they do not have true stem, as I already told you. So they have a stem-like structure and they have a leaf-like structure. So they have stem-like structure and they have a leaf-like structure. Okay, so stem-like structure bhi hai, leaf-like structure bhi hai. And your liverworts, they can reproduce by two methods. First by asexual method and second by sexual method. During asexual method, they can use two ways. There are two ways of reproducing asexually. One is by fragmentation and secondly by formation of gemmae. That is, singular is gemma and this gemma is, it's a plural word. These gemma, as you can see, these gemma, these are all gemma. Okay, so gemma they are green, they are multicellular and asexual buds which develop in small receptacles in certain cups. So these are referred to as your gemma cups. They are referred to as your gemma cups. So your gemma, they are green, multicellular asexual buds and they develop in cup-shaped structures which are referred to as gemma cups and they are located on the thallus part. So this is the thallus part of the liverworts. Okay, and as you can, as I already told you, that they do not have true roots, they do not have true leaves, they do not have stem, but they only have roots and you can say rhizoids, stem-like structures and leaf-like structures. Now once these gemma they become mature, then they detach from the parent body and they will then give rise to a new individual. Now during sexual reproduction, as I told you, they can also reproduce sexually. So during sexual reproduction, so whenever we talk about the sexual reproduction, there will always be two individuals that will be involved. One will be the male and another will be the female. So male will produce the male gametes and female will produce the female gametes. Now as you can see in the picture, both can be present in the same thalli. You can say both the organs, they can be present on the same plant. Like in this case, this is your female gametophyte, this is your male gametophyte. But here they are present in separate plants. So your gemma cups, belonging to male and female, or you can say the male and female gametes or the male female organs, they can be present on the same plant or they can be present on the different plants, right? And after meiosis they will produce the spores, and the spores they will be produced inside the capsule, and these spores they will germinate to form the free living gametophytes. Okay, ये दोनों जो gametes हैं ये स्पोरोफाइट बनाएंगे. क्लियर? सो मेल पार्ट जो है सेम पर भी हो सकता है और मेल और फीमेल पार्ट जो है अलग अलग थैलाई पर भी मौजूद हो सकते हैं. नाउ कमिंग टू दिस, as I told you already, then they will spores will germinate to form the free gametophytes. The second category which we have is the mosses, and the most familiar examples are Phaneria, Polytrichum and Sphagnum, as you can see in the photograph. I think some few of you must be familiar with such examples, and maybe you have seen such examples somewhere also. So Phaneria, Polytrichum and Sphagnum is the example of mosses. Now in case of mosses, you can say the life cycle of a moss is a gametophyte. Okay, the predominant phase in case of mosses is a gametophyte. This is a gametophyte, and it is a most predominant stage, and it consists of two phases. This phase, as you can see the structure. Okay, so mosses, the predominant stage is referred to as gametophyte, and this gametophyte stage can be divided into two stages. One is protonema stage and second is a leafy stage. Okay, dear students, so two stages, protonema and the leafy stage. Now protonema stage, it directly develops from a spore. जो प्रोटोनिमा स्टेज है ये आपकी स्पोर से डायरेक्ट ग्रोथ होती है. सो इट इज़ अ क्रीपिंग green and the branched filamentous stage. The second stage, which is referred to as a leafy stage, which is predominantly a filamentous stage. Okay everyone, and you will find that it is clubbed in the form of a leaves. इसमें आपकी leaves spirally arranged होती हैं and they are attached to the soil with the help of rhizoids. So ये जो आप structure देख पा रहे हैं, this is of a leafy stage. So leafy stage में rhizoids की help से leaves जो हैं spirally arranged होती हैं and the plant is attached to the substratum. As you can see here, they are attached to the substratum with the help of rhizoids, and this stage also bears the sex organs. So leafy stage में आपके sex organs भी present होते हैं. Okay everyone? Now you can easily compare. Can you compare here? Yes. So this is your leafy stage as I was talking about, and it's you can say it is arranged in the form of a spiral and they are attached to the substratum with the help of the rhizoids. Clear? Now the vegetative reproduction in case of mosses occurs by fragmentation. यहाँ पर जो है जो reproduction होता है mosses में, वो पहला vegetative reproduction है, that is by fragmentation and budding, and this occurs from the secondary protonema stage. जो ये budding होती है ये secondary protonema stage होती है, bud like formation होती है, like as you can see here. Then the methods of sexual reproduction. Now as I told you that methods of reproduction involve vegetative can be two types, fragmentation and budding. Budding will occur in the secondary protonema stage. Okay, now coming to the sexual reproduction. As we all know, dear students, that during sexual reproduction there is always involvement of two individuals, or you can say two sexes. One is male, another is the female, and here the male gametes, they will be called as you can say the male and the female gametes, they will be present in the sex organs, and the male sex organ is called antheridia and female sex organs, they are called archegonia. So this is your male plant, this is your female plant. So the male and female parts, they will be present at the tip of the individual. So at the apex they will be present. So in case here antheridia will be present, antheridia, and here archegonia will be present. Rest you can see there is a presence of rhizoids. There are some leafy like structures, right? There are some leafy like structures in both of them. So male and female both have the stem like structure, they have leaf like structure, and they have rhizoids, which are root like structures but not exactly the roots. Okay, and the male plant, at the tip of the male plant you will have antheridia, and at the tip of the at the apex of the leafy portion you will have the archegonia. Now after fertilization the zygote will develop into a sporophyte. Okay everyone, so there will be a fertilization and the zygote will develop into a sporophyte, and that zygote will have, you can say that sporophyte will have 3 portions: foot, seta and the capsule. Now coming to the economic importance of bryophytes. Why do we think that the bryophytes they are important, and or why do we talk about the bryophytes? They are very important, dear students, for us. First of all, some of these mosses, okay, some of the mosses that we've spoken about, they act as a food for the herbaceous mammals, birds and other animals. And some species of sphagnum, as you can see here, they provide peat. This is peat. Okay, they provide peat, and that have been used as a fuel and packing material during the shipping, or you can say transferring, because because of their water holding capacity. So it provides the peat, and peat is used as a packing material and it is also used as a fuel. Second, you must have observed when the mosses they form a mat on the soil. As you can see here, mosses they form a mat on the soil, so they can trap a large quantity of water, right? And this will enrich the water, underground water, and it will also prevent soil erosion. Okay everyone, so they form a mat on the ground, they retain water, they enrich the underground water, and they prevent soil erosion. Now in association with the, you can say, the mosses along with the lichens, so mosses plus the lichens, they are the first to colonize the rocks. ये सबसे पहले जाकर रॉक्स के ऊपर कॉलोनीज फॉर्म करते हैं, and thus they are of ecological importance. They decompose the rocks and making the substratum suitable for the growth of higher plants. So later on, मतलब ये रॉक्स को आपकी सॉइल में कन्वर्ट करते हैं और कंडीशंस, ऐसी कंडीशंस को रेडी करते हैं जिससे आपके वहाँ मेन प्लांट्स की ग्रोथ हो सके. So that is why the bryophytes, they are very important. I hope, dear students, you've understood the concept of bryophytes and its 2 classes, that is liverworts and the mosses. Okay? So coming for your homework for today, that is, first of all you will make notes of this topic and you will read the page numbers 35 and 36. Dear students, you will go through these page numbers, you will underline the important points. There are a few words which are given in dark black, so you need to understand the meanings of those words, right? And if there is any doubt, you will consult me on my personal number. I hope you've understood the whole topic and there is absolutely no problem. So that's all for today. Bye everyone.